Greetings, kindred. So here we are approaching the 8-8 portal, which is also the LionsGate. I'm actually recording this on the 7th, so it's just the day before. But you know, in the true lifetime sky, the 8-8 portal doesn't actually take place in the sign of Leo, it takes place in the last degrees of Cancer. And this absolutely makes sense. So the LionsGate portal is actually at its peak between the 8th of August and the 12th of August. That's the peak area of the LionsGate portal. So the sun does tend to spend like 2.5 days in Cancer, and then it moves into Leo on the 10th, and then spends 2 days in Leo in those 5 days. So this is the moon and the sun, the masculine and the feminine. So, you know, on the 8-8 portal, we're actually downloading through the sign of Cancer. You know, especially since we have a new moon as well occurring this particular 8-8 portal. So the moon and sun will be conjunct together at the 8-8, which is kind of interesting really, because this gives the masculine and feminine energy a lot more power or a lot more significance. So as we download through Cancer up until the 10th, this is all about retreating, incorporating, and just allowing the light codes to come through, if you like, to enter the third eye or the crown chakra. And then from the 10th to the 12th, we start integrating all those downloads into our heart chakra. So, you know, Cancer can be very closed off to their emotions. You know, they have a tough shell. So they can portray a kind of hardcore shell, although inside they're probably feeling very vulnerable. But as you all know, I see the Cancerian sign as a sign also of the scarab and the turtle. So, you know, the Cancer energy holds a lot of wisdom, a lot of patience as well when it's flowing positively. But negatively, it can be very kind of in a place of rejection or abandonment, and maybe reflects that onto others. So if we're not resting and integrating for between the 8-8 and the 10-8, then, you know, we're actually fighting the forces, which is going to really drain our energy. And there is a lot going on around this LionsGate portal as well. So we'll start with the new moon on the 8-8. So the new moon will take place in the sign of Cancer at 14:50 in the GMT time zone, at 9:50 in the EDT time zone, and at 23:50 in the AEDT time zone. So as the new moon begins, of course, she will be in conjunction to the sun. Now I call the moon she. I mean, she is known as a feminine energy, but once upon a time, she was actually a masculine energy. And, you know, through the chaos and the changes in our solar system, you know, she lost a lot. She lost her life force, and she's basically now a dead planet. So our moon is in this kind of like place of sorrow, of loss, and she has been for thousands upon thousands of years. But she's also gained a lot of wisdom from that loss, and the earth is her companion right now. But as astrophysics say, the moon is slowly but surely moving away from the Earth. So again, she's also feeling that sense of loss there. Not only has she lost her life force, but she's also losing her connection to her companion, the Earth. So, when we get to those stages in life, I think, if we're looking at it from like a conscience level, it's like if we know we're losing our life force, or we know we're coming to the end of life, if we're in that place of wisdom, then we are we free ourselves to let go. And the transition becomes a lot more easier to process, to actually go through. But if we're in that fighting energy, then we're dragging out, that sense of loss, or that sense of pain, or even physical pain. So I'm not bringing that up because of the times we're in, but that is really our moon's energy. So that's why she represents our emotions. That's why a lot of people see her in more than negative, because until we reach that higher consciousness level, until we reach that wisdom that we are not really of this earth, we're just transiting through this earth in our lifetime in a physical body that's been provided by the earth itself. But the spirit is eternal. The spirit will always live on. It will always transcend and evolve. So I just felt to say that, with this moon's energy, because with the moon and sun at 18 degrees, I really do feel this is a difficult emotional time for many. There's a lot of obstacles to overcome with this energy. So this is like the new moon beginning in a very self-defeating way. And especially with Mercury close by in Leo at 5 degrees, it's showing there's going to be a shift in consciousness. So some of us will reach that level of understanding that we need to retreat, we need to download the information, the upgrades, allow the light codes to come in, because this is all a part of our awakening. It's all a part of our transitioning, because we are all transitioning right now. The world is changing, the energies are changing, and we need to adapt to that, but by following our own intuition. And this is what the sign of Cancer is all about as well. Being very intuitive, but not over-idealizing others over our own intuition. This is a time we need to follow our own guidance. So with the moon in opposition to Saturn in retrograde, this is like a restriction of a lack of self-esteem, or a lack of self-control, or maybe too much self-control, holding on too tightly to things, being too disciplined. So, we need to reach that compromise, because there is a lot going on in the media right now. And, especially here in the UK, our moon and sun actually takes place in the 10th house of Ophiuchus. And then we've got Saturn retrograding through his own sign in the 3rd house of Taurus, which is the material physical world. Taurus does represent that. And we do have the North Node transit in Taurus at the moment, which is all about society and social trends. And the North Node is at 14 degrees. So, overall I just feel, we need to retreat. We need to maybe, I know it's raining a lot here in England, we couldn't get enough water if we tried, but we need to be by a lake or by the sea. Again, I'm recommending that, being by water for healing, for scrying, look into the water, because this is a powerful time, especially with the new moon taking place on the 8/8. This will be a powerful time for self-reflection, for downloading information, and, for scrying, especially when it comes to water. I'm also feeling crystal energy, like quartz crystal energy. So, like me, I have a quartz crystal here. It's got a rainbow in it. And I do tend to look into it a lot. And I do see images. And I could spend hours sometimes looking into my crystal. But I'm really getting this feeling of scrying for some reason. Some people scry sand. Some people scry candle flames. Some people scry water. But I do feel the water energy will be very healing. And so deep breathing exercises as well, And the good thing about the rain is it does purify the air, Especially if we've had a muggy, humid day and it starts raining, it's kind of like a relief. I would advise to take it easy, especially since our South Node conjunct Juno are both at 0 degrees in Ophiuchus. So, I've been posting up actually a lot of the Alice in Wonderland stuff, like the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat and stuff like that. And, the South Node being at 0 degrees in Ophiuchus conjunct Juno is kind of giving me that energy of, going down a rabbit hole. So I really do feel this 0 degrees, the South Node being there. I mean, the South Node is all about our comfort zone. So this isn't about our comfort zone in the material physical world. This is our comfort zone when it comes to our depth of our soul. This is like the womb. So when we go to the womb in Ophiuchus, we're actually in contact with the Aquarian energy, who is the mother of Ophiuchus. So looking at Aquarius, we've got Jupiter now at 1 degree retrograde in Aquarius. This is in the true lifetime sky, by the way. So Jupiter is about to retrograde back into Capricorn. So in Aquarius, it is all about higher consciousness. Not so much when he's going forward in Aquarius. When he's going forward in Aquarius, it can give out more the energy of self-righteousness or I know it all, But in retrograde, it's reflecting on everything you thought you knew. And, really tapping into that higher consciousness. And at 1 degree, again, this is all about the self. And in a way, that's good because we need to come back to ourselves. I've been seeing astrologically over the last few years so much power being given away to others, when really we need to hold on to our power, our own self-power, and incorporate that with our wisdom and our knowledge, and not follow the status quo. Now, before the full moon takes place this month, the South Node will move into the sign of Scorpio. So by the end of this month, I think things are going to get really kind of like, there's going to be a lot of suspicion, a lot of distrust. And so I don't know what's occurring, but I am seeing all this media attention, and I do feel that things are being revealed, things are being covered up. It's an ongoing thing we've been seeing already, but through this LionsGate portal, it's actually all reaching its peak. So, actually on this 8-8 portal, which is also the new moon, we do have a kite and we do have 2 T-squares. So the kite's energy is very much in the flow. It's, we have 2 kites. I didn't realise that before. We actually have 2 kites. And, so the actual trine of the kite is in water and ether. So it's the South Node and Juno in Ophiuchus in trine to Chiron in Pisces, in trine to our moon and sun in Cancer, and they're back in trine to the South Node. So this 8-8 portal is really taking us deep into a deep reflection. And this is also kind of like this is definitely ancestral. We are definitely downloading a lot of information from our ancestry lines. And, I feel it's on a bigger scale than that, because I don't feel it's our individual ancestry lines. This is going back to the very beginning, to the birth of man. And, not to say there weren't other beings before that, but we're talking about man in his human form. So I just feel that this is a very, very powerful 8-8 portal. Now, we have 2 sextiles at the top of the kite with Saturn. But Saturn is actually in opposition to the sun and moon. And we've just discussed that. Like there's this over-disciplined thing. We need to let go of control. And I don't feel it's control of self. I feel it's control of the narrative, of control of other people's opinions, or, or even letting go of being inhibited. I think we need to break out of our shell, that tough light, hiding things from ourselves, really, facing our wounds, facing our situations, without being in fear, without being... And really it's more about a fear of abandonment and a fear of rejection. And this is all to do with relationships, not just intimate, but social relationships. So just watch out for that. We've got Mars in Leo at 18 degrees as well. So I do feel there's an enforcement of something, and Mars is actually in opposition to Jupiter, like I said. The moon and sun's in opposition to Saturn. And Mercury's also in opposition to Jupiter at 5 degrees. So, there's this very difficult situation coming about that's really going to dampen people's spirit, or it's going to kind of make people a little bit off key, so let's watch out for that. Neptune's at 1 degree still retrograde in Pisces, with Pallas at 4 degrees in Pisces, and they're in opposition to Venus in Leo. Now Venus is all about what makes us happy. It's all about what gives us joy in life, It's about material possessions, it's about love, it's about money, and at 32 degrees, which comes down to the number 5 again, I really do feel this is about the financial world or the world of entertainment. And, maybe we are blindsiding ourselves a bit. Or maybe we're so kind of like exhausted at the moment that we need to retreat to refresh ourselves, Because again, I'm seeing all this opposition with like what's going on around us and people's opinions. And I don't feel it's the normal everyday person's opinions. I feel it's like, especially here in the UK, it's taking place in the 11th house of the public house. So yeah, I get a feeling like, there's going to be some shifting or some redirection of information that's going to cause quite a stir. And some of us will incorporate it or acknowledge it, while others will just outright reject it. So I really do feel that we should have our ears open. Our ears should be wide open. Doesn't necessarily mean that we need to agree with the information, but we do need to listen and use our own instinct to decide what that information is all about. Because, there isn't so much an ego. I'm not really seeing much ego going on here, apart from the fact that the Black Moon Lilith is in Aries. I mean, the Black Moon Lilith in Aries at 23 degrees. Again, that breaks down to 5. So, yeah, I just feel a lot of people's feathers are going to be ruffled throughout this time. But on a spiritual level, if you can just retreat, do water cleansing or water healing or scrying, I just feel, especially for those of us that are on that path already, that are already confident in that ability that we've got, I feel a lot of information coming through tomorrow on the 8/8 portal. And I really do recommend burning candles, doing a water cleanse, doing a sage cleanse. Do a cleanse and then just meditate. And maybe just do some scrying for those that enjoy doing that. I feel you're going to get a lot of information or a lot of insight. So moving on to the 9th of August, which is the 9/8. The sun will move to 19 degrees. Now, I think that's a lot better. The moon moves to 9 degrees in Leo. So, our sun will be in opposition to Saturn. And I think we've still got this kite going on. But what stands out to me most in this chart is that we have a yod. Now this yod is with Pluto and Neptune that have actually been in sextile for many, many years. And they're both in quincunx aspect to Mercury, who will be at 7 degrees. So it's going to be a very triggering time, because I feel like everybody wants to get on the move. Everybody wants to move forward and make things better. Not just for themselves, but for their social, global environment. But I get a feeling it's going to be blocked. Maybe through the information that comes out on the 8/8, or maybe it's just like mental exhaustion, or maybe with the downloads coming in from the 8/8 portal, they're still coming in on the 9/8 portal. So maybe we could be feeling a little bit mentally tired or physically drained, and we need to just be still, just to get the information that's coming in. So with this yod, it's very triggering, but it just goes right into our mental health. And but at 7 degrees, kind of quite spiritual, but it can be a little bit out there. So we just need to watch out for that. And also Jupiter will be in opposition to the moon and Mercury. Now the moon at 9 degrees, this is like an ending of a cycle, energetically. So I do feel certain realizations will come in for some, but others it's just going to be another block on their path. So I also feel that we need to be very protective of our auras, you know, because we're going to feel the collective's energy, especially for empaths and people that are very in tune to their environment psychically. I just feel, you know, the energies are going to be very high vibe, especially with the light codes coming in as well. You know, so a lot of static, I'm seeing a lot of static. And to be honest, you know, the LionsGate portal has already been open. There has already been stuff coming in since, I think, the new moon in July. But, you know, like I said, it's coming to the peak. Those 5 days are the peak days. So again, it's very important that we meditate and, you know, just retreat. We meditate and just try and keep ourselves calm, because again, I just feel, you know, the problem with the sign of Cancer as well is that it can tend to be a martyr. So can Leo, actually. And even with the Black Moon Lilith in Aries, I mean, that is a protector of the underdog. I mean, you know, so I just feel that we just need to be very careful with our energies and not go over the top, you know. No one needs to be a martyr, but we do need to hold on to self-control or hold on to faith that everything will be alright, you know. So this yod is also including the moon, actually. So the moon is quite close by. So, you know, it's going to affect us emotionally. It's going to stir up a lot of feelings. And, you know, I just feel we need to tame that down, because I just feel that whatever's going on, it's a little bit beyond the reality of life. I just feel we need to be in our wisdom, be in a place of stability to really see things for what they are. You know, so I would definitely recommend keeping a low profile throughout this LionsGate portal and just incorporating the downloads. You know, I just feel that we need to really, because the energies are going to be very, very heightened. You know, because some people are aware of the energies that are coming in and the downloads, but some people are not. And it's those that are not that can tend to, like, go off the rails a bit. Excuse my phone. Yeah, so it's all going to be go, go, go on the 8th and the 9th. So let's look at the 10th. So on the 10th, that's when the sun moves into Leo. Now that happens in the GMT time zone around midday. And again in England, you know, in the UK, it's at 0 degrees in the public house. And the sun will still be in opposition to Saturn. So the sun moves into Leo. Now this is where we start incorporating all the downloads into the heart chakra. And I just feel a lot of people are going to come into their wisdom, or a lot of people are going to have to let go of things, you know, let go of, like, maybe certain structures in their life or certain points of view that they've had. You know, ending a cycle which has been kind of like an obstacle course on their journey for however long. I mean, each and every one of us will be affected differently by these energies in different areas of our lives. But overall, you know, it's coming to conclusions within the self And again, I just feel there's going to be a lot going on in the media. And I just feel that whatever it is, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic expectations, and it's putting a lot of pressure on people emotionally and energetically. So it's all about moving forward and being blocked on the path. So I really don't know what's going to be coming out during this time. But on a spiritual level, this is where we're integrating all the downloads into the heart chakra. So the moon will be in conjunction with Mars. Well, the moon will be separating from Mars in Leo. And they're still in opposition to Jupiter, which is now at 0 degrees in Aquarius. And 0 degrees is pretty deep. Again, I'm getting this like Alice in Wonderland, Mad Hatter's energy. And, that can be the real world for some of us, do you know what I mean? As long as we're taking all the wisdom from that energy. It's just literally what I see is we're all going down this rabbit hole throughout this LionsGate portal. I mean, we've been going down rabbit holes constantly for the last 2 years. But I just feel this time is very, very important to get ourselves in a place of self-power, for one. Self-control, but not over self-control. And to know our own minds, to follow our own intuition. Neptune will move back into Aquarius in September. But, moving between Pisces and Aquarius, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for humanity. Very beautiful for the spiritual realms and for those who are connected to the spiritual realms, but have their 2 feet on the ground. But, for those that have followed more the traditional paths in life, when it comes to their spirituality, not all, but most, it's, or even those that are just not into any belief structure at all. I just feel, there's this fanatical energy going on throughout this LionsGate portal. And downloads can do that, especially for people that are first waking up. They get all this information downloaded and the mind can just explode, So that's what we're seeing, but we're seeing a lot of people waking up. So there's all this fanatical energy coming out, into the collective field, into the magnetic field that we're all feeling right now. And those that are in their wisdom, that are not on the side of good, they can use that collective magnetic energy and turn it against the innocent. So these people waking up that are a little bit fanatical, at the end of the day, it's just like an expression. It's a release, because for a lot of people, the awakening process is mind-blowing. And for a little while, you can feel like you're going mad. And I think many people over the last few years have thought, am I going mad? Am I missing something here? While others are steadfast on track, giving their power away and not really analysing what needs to be analysed. When it comes to our individual lives, we are responsible for our own life. We are responsible for our life's path. and we must follow our own guidance. We should never have anything forced upon us, any opinion, and especially not when it comes to physical health. So, I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, and even I have sat there with my mouth open thinking, really? I just think humanity on the whole needs to come back down to earth and be realistic in all the information that's being presented and not following the status quo, but finding out their own research, doing their own research, coming to their own conclusions, and not just because somebody else said it or their friend said it, So, I don't know, this energy I'm feeling right now from these charts is very, very erratic, unrealistic. But I just feel again, it's that going down the rabbit hole experience. But it's to face the depths of our soul. Another thing I see here, when I said going back to ancestry, going back to the very beginning, that was where karma was first created for humanity, when the first human was born. That created a big karma. And the South Node represents karma. Saturn represents karma. And Saturn is actually the father of Ophiuchus. So Saturn at 9 degrees, there's something here that's coming to an end. There's something here that's being brought forward at this LionsGate portal, and I really do feel it's all about information. It's all about unrealistic expectations, and we just need to get in that place of peace within ourselves and not be the martyr out there. Whatever we do, we have to be doing it for the right reasons, and that's the message that I'm getting. We've got to really push out of our comfort zones, but it's not possible right now. With South Node at 0 degrees in Ophiuchus conjunct Juno, who is very, very loyal. I just feel like, this LionsGate portal is actually coming across like there's a big eclipse going on for the next 5 days, because that's how it feels. But then I do feel this South Node in Ophiuchus is preparing us for the solar eclipse happening in Ophiuchus on December the 4th this year. And from what I've seen of that chart, it's a heavy, heavy Ophiuchian energy. And, there's a lot of planets going to be in Ophiuchus at this particular solar eclipse, all the fast-moving planets. I haven't got the chart wheel at hand at the moment, and I will be doing a video about that. But yeah, so, we do have this kite with the North Node at the top, conjunct Ceres, and the South Node at the bottom. So, to me, this South Node conjunct Juno, who is very loyal, who is very traditional, like I said before, Juno also represents the abused wife, also abused children, but they're both in opposition to the North Node conjunct Ceres. So what this is telling me is like there's something going on about our well-being. you know, and I feel it's more to do with the food industry. So I feel there's more information coming out there into the collective. So we need to watch out for that on the 11th. The moon will be at 0 degrees in Virgo, conjunct Venus. So again, this is all about pleasure, finances, love. But in opposition to Neptune and Pallas, the moon and Venus in opposition to Neptune and Pallas. See, Virgo is very analytical. I feel all this incorporation of the downloads. I feel a lot of people are going to have visions and dreams. I feel that's already been happening anyway. But this is all about our spiritual beliefs, our spiritual power, you know, our creativity, what makes us happy. It feels like we're being distracted away or taken away from the things we really enjoy. You know, so again, I'm just seeing that, you know, there's a lot of unrest with the collective's energy, a lot of unrest. I know there's a lot of unrest, but I just feel this throughout this LionsGate portal. Something more is happening, which is ruffling a lot of feathers. But on a spiritual level, you know, we could really create beautiful things with this energy. You know, if we're able to, you know, shut the door or just spend time with people that are close to us, you know, people that we feel comfortable around. You know, I think there's a lot to be gained there. There's a lot to be worked on. And I feel it's more creative, more psychic. Anything to do with the alternative, I feel can be very productive. But I do feel there's restrictions and blocks that come in from external forces, and that's going to upset a lot of people, because I think, you know, people just wanted to enjoy this summer, even though it's been raining most of the time here in England. I mean, but yeah, there's a lot going on globally with these energies. So on the 12th, on the day that the LionsGate portal closes, so we've done the downloading, and then we've done the incorporating into the heart chakra. So on the last day of the LionsGate portal, the moon will be in conjunction actually to Vesta. Now the sun will be at 1 degree, still in opposition to Jupiter, and in square to Uranus, who's at 16 degrees Aries, who's about to go retrograde on the 20th of August. Uranus will start his retrograde. Let me just see. I think it's at 16 degrees. Where is he? Yeah. So Uranus will start his retrograde at 16 degrees. So at the moment, you know, Uranus is in shadow. So I do feel like there's again this shifting energy, and you know, Uranus in direct mode is very fast-paced energy. So going into retrograde in a way, especially in the sign of Aries, will slow things down a bit. So I do feel as the LionsGate portal closes, there is this slowing down of energy. So throughout the LionsGate portal, the energy is likely to be very, very fast flowing, and there's a lot of it coming in. But there's a lot going on in the media, in our, you know, communities. So, you know, there's a lot of information still coming out, which is very opposing. You know, some of it is a little bit far-fetched on both sides of the coin, but some of it's kind of like, we need to find the middle ground. But at the same time, we need to be downloading all these energies and incorporating them. That's why I'm saying, you know, depending on what it is that's ruffling our feathers, if we can manage to take time out and just get in our creative energy, we'll be doing ourselves a favour, we'll be empowering ourselves to move forward after this LionsGate portal closes. So the sun and the moon, and the new moon at the 8-8, it's very significant, it's very powerful. And we really do need to be incorporating those because it's for our well-being. It's for our evolution. And even though, I know I spoke to a guy who said, no, the LionsGate portal doesn't happen until Venus, comes into conjunction with Regulus at a certain time with the sun. Something along those lines, and I totally agree. But to me, that's the energy of the white lion, which is a very rare event. But the LionsGate portal, this is all golden energy that's coming in. It's always golden energy. But obviously, when that particular conjunction takes place, that is like the white lion energy. So, it's a very powerful new moon. I see it also being like an eclipse though. I would do scrying, sitting by water. I think a calming lake or even a stream. The sea is going to be very cleansing, but it's a very powerful energy, the sea. And I think with all the rain and the bad weather, the sea could be a little bit more ferocious. So I would definitely suggest more a lake or a pond or a brook or a stream, or scry. Just get a nice bowl of water, in a nice bowl and just scry the water. So I do feel those of you that are artists, I feel there's a lot of magic coming through for you. And, on the 12th of August, Neptune actually is at 0 degrees, so he will be retrograded back to 0 degrees in Pisces. So again, with the South Node and Juno conjunct at 0 degrees in Ophiuchus, and Neptune at 0 degrees in Pisces, I really do feel this energy is taking us off planet. So we need to be careful with that because we do need to keep our 2 feet on the ground. So I would say earthing and just rest as much as possible over the next 5 days and just acknowledge what's going on. I have done one for the 13th as well because it's the 13th day of the month. But I don't really see much else changing, I see things shifting forward, I see things getting a little bit more balanced. But, it's like we're not finished with this energy yet. I feel like we'll still be incorporating this LionsGate portal's energy right up until around about the 22nd or the 23rd of August, just after Uranus goes into retrograde in the sign of Aries. So the 22nd, 23rd, I feel that things will calm down a bit. And there's still going to be a lot of pressure on us, but I feel spiritually with all the downloads, because we can expect a lot going on around the head area, like buzzing, ringing in the ears, maybe the occasional headache, or, maybe a feeling of nauseousness. I don't feel this is about the nervous system. I just feel this is about more the solar plexus shifting. The solar plexus is shifting and the heart chakra is going to be very wide open. So, we need to just be aware of that. I do feel there's going to be a lot of emotional release. you know, people release emotions in different ways, you know. As much as there's all this restlessness going on collectively and globally, I really do feel that, you know, because the moon and the sun will be in sextile, which is a beautiful energy for well-being and self-expression. So I think if we take note, if over these next 5 days we do really retreat, we really do integrate all these beautiful energies coming in, then our bodies will be rested. So I'm just sending you all peace and much love. Take care.